Hey there, it's Chris, and welcome back to the Kai Shulin Project, where last time, not gonna lie, my brain was not in it at all whatsoever in terms of the modeling stuff. But thankfully, we came back to this. We kind of fixed out a number of the shirt issues that I kind of really jumped on really quick in the first session. So we put the shoulders back on so we can kind of define where the edge of the shirt kind of wound up. We put the collar in there, we put the collar bones kind of in there, did a little bit of the fold, kind of stretch. So we kind of did a lot of touch-up stuff on the shirt last time, which again was really good because my brain was 100% on it. I was straight on that race, which has now come and gone. I'm recording this now on Tuesday afterwards, so it's going live on Thursday. And yeah, that is now passed. Had a really good time, but it is time to move on with things. There will probably be some discussion going into that during the session, so just be prepared. But if you want to know really what happened, I posted that half-hour long video on the recap of the race earlier in the week. Anyway, let's go and get the cord of this webcam stuck on my computer. Let's get you down here. Let's get ready to actually do some work. Now, since the last part, actually just kind of while sitting here before starting to record this, I did, much like on the front of the shirt here, the striations we had really quickly put on. I kind of widened the ones in the back, kind of highlighted them. What I didn't do is I didn't texture the ones in the back yet. If only because when rewatching the video on the first time when I was putting the texture on the front, I didn't realize that was 100% off camera. So, par for the course on that. So, I figured it takes 2 seconds to do, let's actually do that on camera. So all it was just kind of rolling this guy on here. Again, when I bought my tools, when I bought all this stuff to use, I had it was like a set of 25 or a set of 40 or whatever it is things. Granted, I generally only use like 2 or 3 of them, but stuff like this is in there. It's nice when you do kind of need these kinds of things, but by and large, having a lot of tools on hand doesn't necessarily mean anything. You're always going to find the ones that you like to use and kind of go with it, and the rest get used for like specialty kind of areas such as this. And again, I think this actually looks really bad putting this on right now, because also I noticed the last filming session I had, everything was like way up close like this, so it all looked really, really kind of terrible. But I think when we add the mineral spirits on here before hardening, it's going to soften this look up a little bit. And I think that's going to help bring this all together. So I'm just kind of, in my mind, hoping that when we get to the next step, again, we get to that hardening step, this will start to look a little better. Right now, this comes across as just a little rough in my mind, but we will get there. That said, in addition to this, I started kind of finishing off the bottom fringe stuff. I didn't go any farther on this right now. Basically, I want to get this top part done because today's goal is going to be not on that image, that's for sure. Is we are going to be working on the chest guard over here and the straps that go along the back. So that's going to be our goal for today. And that said, we're going to make some adjustments to what's on here. I'm not going to 100% follow this, because if you look directly across where I'm pointing on the kind of far side of the chest there, you can see where the strap comes out on this side, and there's one that comes out on this side. It's actually the strap that starts on the top. It wraps around and comes out, and then it wraps around the back and comes out. If I keep that coming out, it's easier to see on this side. If I keep that kind of coming out, like that little kind of pointer thing, that may work for this. But if I try to put the camo on top of it, if I'm sticking this on top of that, that's going to create all kinds of issues. So instead of having that stick out, I'm probably going to go take it and almost run it flat on the front. It may look a little weirder here, but the next step is going to fit a lot better than having this little pointing thing stick out, because that's going to make the profile all kinds of wrong, which we don't want to work with. And that said, because I'm doing the chest guard and the straps there, I don't really need to worry about this bottom fringe. I don't really need to worry about this top fringe. I can do those after the fact. doing stuff in this area is not going to affect either of those. But it is nice to at least get this kind of done, so I don't need to then do this up against a finished portion. I keep going back and forth whether the chest size is too big or to shrink it for this part, because I want the chest sticking out a little bit so it looks like at least the straps are kind of bopped in a little. I don't want it to just come down flat on top of the straps, but I don't know. I have this feeling I'm going to get that wrong in the end when we get to the next step, but well, we're just going to deal with that when we get to that next step. I don't know. It's going to be what it's going to be. But okay, so we have a general rundown of that. And now it's time to put this thing somewhere where I don't need it. Because we should get that. I don't know why I have a pencil up here. Don't need the pencil. And I probably don't need this guy here anymore. Okay, we're getting our area good to work with. Boop. We have our friend. I realized I had like no clay left. So we're going to go make some more for ourselves. See, I'm not going to cover too much of the race stuff here, but I will say at least I haven't actually done a damage report since the race. But realistically, since that, usually I will go and completely fry my quads on these things to the point that I can't walk up and down a flight of stairs. That really wasn't an issue this time because I was using a number of different muscle groups throughout. It may have been the steepest hills I've ever done, and quantity-wise, more of the steepest hills as well. But I was using a larger quantity of muscles to do it. So the quads weren't taking the entirety of the brunt, the hamstrings weren't taking, the glutes weren't taking the entirety. So everything was kind of working together. So the legs actually aren't terrible. Yes, it was a little fun getting up and down to do laundry and whatnot in the morning, but we got that done. Otherwise, the knot in the back, I thought was starting to pinch my shoulder a little bit, but what I think is happening is the knot that I had between my shoulder blades before the race, it pulled on my tricep, probably starting during the race or whatnot, and what I'm feeling right now is actually my tricep, which is starting to get pinched and whatnot, because I've been foam rollering everything, and all of a sudden I hit my tricep area, foam rollered that, and that just hit the spot. So it's been kind of bugging me throughout the day, but I think I can get that one done and kind of ironed out in a relatively short amount of time. Otherwise, if I wanted to go running or whatnot again, I could really start that tomorrow if I wanted to, which is, again, better than I usually am after these kinds of races. Okay, I'm shifting this down to a 4 at this point. I don't want this chest guard sticking out too much, although the 5's not looking too bad. The 5 isn't looking too bad. And realistically, looking at that, I probably should do, if nothing else, it looks like it almost goes on top of the straps. So I should probably do this bottom. This camera is going to be really fun. I'm already starting out well. I should probably do this bottom strap and this, because it looks like then I go on top of the strap up top here, and I go to the bottom strap there. So maybe it's worth, I'll save this piece for the guard itself, but let me go roll out some more to use on the straps, in which case I'm going to want, my friend, the straight edge. Probably a longer straight edge than that. We actually probably need the real actual straight edge for this. But no, I had a really good time with the race. Like I said, I think I know what I did to my knees as well and why that was a problem. And I really don't need to bulletproof my knees if I were to do it again. What I need to do is I need to bulletproof my ankles. Because what happened is I was going down the hills kind of relatively straight the first time, and it started killing the ankles. So you then kind of twist a little bit, kind of go down one side, twist a little bit, kind of go down the other side. So you're kind of a little catty corner. And what that did was that introduced kind of a rotational or kind of a lateral force on my knee. And I think that's what caused my knee problems. was me trying to avoid having the ankle problems by trying to solve the ankle problem part. So realistically, if I can solve the ankle problem part, I think the knees are going to solve themselves, and then that shouldn't be as much of an issue if I were to attempt something like that again. That said, they're 100% fine because, again, I stopped the race before it became a major issue. And even then, the only reason it became the issue was it was such, the downhills were really as long as they were, that it just, the quantity of that kind of force going on is what caused the issue. So if I were to go back to Vernon or something like that, where they do have super steep downhills, there just isn't the quantity of it that I just went through. So I'm not worried about having that kind of problem again, if that makes any sense at all. That said, eventually we gotta move on from things, and we need to, as much fun as it is to keep going over this race stuff, I do need to move on. I am actually in the mood to do now another kind of race or another kind of run, which is very unusual for these. Usually I kind of do it and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I need a break. And now I guess because I didn't quite finish all the way, or I don't know what it is, but I'm like, I am raring to go for like another something. I'm not sure why, but I definitely am. Now let's see. It looks like, looking at this, there's a clasp right in the front. And there's really not one in the back. So if we're going to make a seam, we want our seam to be right in the middle there, where I'm going to put the clasp. So all I'm doing, I know it's off camera, I'm just cutting a square front edge on that. And you come pretty much right down there-ish. Okay. And now when we turn her around, we're going to see how far off we am from lining up with each other, because the odds of it working out perfectly on the first try are right there. Heck yeah, look at that. We lined up like a pro. I must have done this before. Actually, do we want this to... I'm missing a step. I'm missing a step. I'm missing a step. I think this should be treated in the same manner, although it's not depicted visually here, the same manner I did this set of straps, in that it looks like it's supposed to be kind of digging in a little bit. It actually is being used for support. So what I should do is I should actually kind of do this little guy first. So it looks like it's pulling in and is actually doing something. Now we really want this line to line up and have both sides kind of hit each other. Okay, speaking of things hitting each other, let's just go and hit the webcam right off here. That's great. I need to stop saying that's great. That's like become my catchphrase for everything. I need something different. I have rewatched that video from Killington a number of times, and yeah, I gotta shift from something of just it's great to something else. It's fun watching your own mannerisms when you do these things. You know what? I think it's a good idea just to do these kinds of videos, even if you never want to post these like yourselves, if you're watching this just like at home or whatnot. Just do a number of these types of things on whatever it is you do, and you will see all kinds of mannerisms that you never knew you were doing all the time. And it's like, oh, do I really sound like that? Oh, do I really do this kind? Do I really say these types of things? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. You do say these kinds of things all the time. Yes. That is the way you act. So it's a little bit of an eye-opener on that. But yeah, I've definitely noticed some things I say a lot that really probably shouldn't necessarily always rely on. Okay, we have that off. Let's go pull you apart. Join this back together, so that's all good and cool. Now I'm just kind of further reinforcing that this goes in, and that's that. And it looks like these straps are relatively plain. It might have a little pleat on the top and bottom of it, but it's not. The intent isn't to striate it like the other ones were. So that much is kind of good. Although I think I will pleat the top and bottom, which for something this width winds up kind of being the whole thing anyway. But that just is. Okay, so we get a little bit going up here as well. I don't need to worry about going underneath the bust line over there because we're going to be dealing with that soon enough. Yeah, I'm kind of in the mood to do some other race at some point. I'm not sure what, but I may do something else before the end of the year. It might just be like a 5K or a 10K or something like that. It might not be anything huge. I'm not in the mood to do like another, like a big obstacle race or some obstacle course race or something like that. But I think I wouldn't mind doing kind of something small, more kind of local in scale. Find one like like a neighborhood kind of thing or like a community kind of run. Last year did a half marathon kind of nearby, kind of in the middle of October-ish, and I'm not going to be in shape for that. It's going to take a while to get my legs really under me if I wanted to go do that kind of training or whatnot, but I guess that's great, and or whatnot, or not, is the other phrase that I always use. Oh, what happened? Oh, I think I know what happened. When I was doing the striation stuff, I re-pushed this back in. Oh, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, okay, there we go. Why make life harder if I can just hold this whole thing? And I think that would be a gorgeous run to do maybe next year again, if I'm so inclined to do a running kind of race, because it was one of those perfect events. It was like gorgeous weather. It was like full fall foliage. Like it was just a really nice, good weather, good foliage, good vision, or good kind of views around. Nice people, nice area. It was just a fun race to do, but fortunately, it's in a time frame for when that's going to happen that it's not quite conducive to where I'm going to get what I want to get out of it. So, but I'm sure I can find other ones, maybe in like November or something, that I can at least give myself a solid month to prepare for. I might have turkey trots and whatnot around that time. So I could always find. I know the local one in my area is either, I forget if it's like 2 miles or 3 miles or like a 5K. I think I've seen it as both before, but I think I want something a little more substantial than that. But I don't know, just kind of almost in that mood to do something again, which is again really unusual. Okay, so I know this one's going to start underneath the guard and come back. So let's see, where do you come back to? So you come back and you swing all the way down across the shoulder there, and then that becomes the other. Do we have a good visual on that? No. Okay, so I guess what I'm gonna do is not leave this up here, because all that's gonna happen is I'm gonna accidentally push that in or do something dumb. And we're just gonna go ahead and cut ourselves another strip. We have this, might as well use it. And although in general, actually this is this is definitely long enough now. I was gonna say, even though this isn't long enough to do it, it is the width that I want the piece to be. But actually for this one, it is long enough, so haha, there we go. I can just do that. Boop. Okay. And then really the other back one, when it comes around, is going to be done after that guard goes on, because we have the wrong side image here, because we look at that kind of pointed end comes out over top of everything. It's just this top portion goes on, or starts under the guard, and then I can put another piece on top of it afterwards. So I'm just going to leave this thing longer than it has to be right now. And then I can, when I find out how big the guard itself is, I can then cut that back to where I want to stick it. But this one comes back something like, yeah, it kind of meets up with this one just about under the arm. So it comes in here, it comes across, and then that's when it becomes kind of that belt buckle-y front thing. Which again, if I'm doing this officially, if to actually match that, it's going to stick out something like this, which doesn't look like much, but if I stick the camo on here, that is going to cause, I can go around that, but it's going to change the profile, and I don't really want to change the profile. So I think it's going to be fine if I just have it kind of come in that little bit. I think it's going to be okay. I guess we're just going to go ahead, do this little doohickey here. Ah, this keeps going off to the side. Don't do that. Be good to me. I'm trying to help you look good. Help me help you. How are we doing on time? We're 23 minutes. Okay. Not too bad. I have no idea how long. I feel like if I get this part done, I'm just going to stop there. So I had no idea if this is going to be like one of those hour-long things, going to be like half-hour-long things. I feel like when I did all of Bang, I was definitely stuck on the hour-long session. Everything's got to be an hour-long session. It's what it's going to be, and that's just what it was. And I think I'm getting over that. Now it's just kind of whatever this kind of turns into to get a task complete. I'm still, I think for most of the sessions, kind of aiming for that. There are going to be a couple, again, that are very specified on, if I want to get like a certain goal done, I may just do that quick, like 20-minute, half-hour kind of thing. But in general, I am still aiming for these longer ones, if only because I'm doing 3 or 4 sessions a week. And the only reason I'm throwing out 4 right now is because I believe I'm going to be finishing the game off this weekend, playing-wise. When things go live, it'll probably be the following week. But once the game itself is done, that really does open up a lot of time. Because that just takes a lot of time to, even though I know nobody's watching it, because, yeah, if I were to do this again, or if I want to do a model and a game with it again, I might set up a separate YouTube channel just for the gaming side, because it really kind of screws up the algorithm if you're doing multiple kind of genres in one channel and having people trying to find you and whatnot. So I may set up just that. But in terms of the type of game that it is, the kind of battle one, you really do need to set aside like 2 or 3 hours for every session, because you don't know how long any given section of that is going to take. And yeah, once I get that done and stop doing like 3 of those a week, that frees up so much time to actually get really anything else done. Okay, I don't need a lot of this. So let's just cut you out, cut you out. And we're going to do kind of our usual on this. And then I'm just going to lay you kind of down here. You are a little bigger than I need you to be. The bottom has to be flat, so having the bottom being flat on this is fine. Now we're going to need this to be kind of molded around. We don't want to have seams on it, but again, this is where clay is really nice. You can see clay can kind of mold around the way we want it to, for the most part, be good. And once we have that on there, now we can just kind of carve out to what we kind of want this to be. So it looks like you kind of start from the middle and kind of come up towards, where are you? About midway through the arm. It looks like the top point is about midway up the arm, something like this-ish height. So if I'm starting vertical, and we don't quite get the horizontal by that point. Oop. Oh, maybe you're just easier. Okay, so I do need to move this, I think, that strap just a little bit. And it actually stays, yeah, flush to the bottom, which means that's going to need to kind of flatten out a little bit. And then on this side, when it comes down, it looks like it comes around a little bit. And I can't really see where it ends on the bottom. So we're just going to do something like that. We're going to cut this off, kind of remove that top strap just so it kind of matches up with what we have. Hopefully I cut through enough. Okay, that's working. How's that? That looks too small. Okay, I'm gonna do that again. Only this time, maybe not too small. Okay, so I believe I was at 5 for this. Yeah, I think this side is fine. This needs to come up, I think, a little more around that portion. So I think we're close, but kind of want to give it another shot. Okay, nice thing is I have a general size on this I can go from, and realistically I could kind of use this. I said I think that was okay. It was this side needed to come up a little more. That didn't change much. That didn't change things much, but did it change it enough? Well, it's clay. I can work with clay and make that kind of work. I can do my little kind of push and pull thing. I'm sorry. I can put it up here. I can do my little kind of push and pull. So it's coming around. Okay, so we went a little too vertical from the start, but that's fine. Let's get that off. Come on, you're not doing the thing. Do the thing. Yeah, there you go. You did the thing. That's looking a little better. It has a little more substance to it. Again, it's not that much difference, but sometimes just that little bit does it. Okay, that said, you can come, this bottom part can come off. We don't need that because all that's going to do is bop this whole thing up. And that came across just a little more. We need this, we need the strap to line up with this top corner. So something like that. Okay. Now you get to tuck in under the belt, or under the strap. It's not really a belt, but under the strap on the bottom. Okay, I'm making sure the camera's facing the right way. Why do I feel like I'm always more lucky now when the camera's facing the right way? The world of being lucky and good. I don't feel like I've been good so far. Okay, now this has kind of two layers because you can see it has a perimeter that kind of goes around it. It has that kind of dark layer before it has the light. And I can either do a little line that goes down there, or like I can mold out just like a little line, kind of put it around. I could put another piece on here, but I think that's a little smaller. But I think what I want to do is just kind of take what we have. Let's go and round this off a little bit nicer first thing. So I'm just going to take this and kind of score the edge all the way down. I'm going to see if I can keep this kind of evenly spaced throughout. That would be super, super cool. Okay, let's see, and underneath. Wow, this whole underneath area looks pretty bad. Looks pretty bad, but oh well. We will be fixing that type of stuff up. Okay, now we're just kind of giving it a little bit of 3D effect going here. You can see this is kind of what we do on the soles of the shoes. I've done this on a number of kind of areas before, but if it works on the other areas as a visual, it'll work on this area. You just kind of score and then just round the edge real nicely, and all of a sudden it makes everything kind of pop and read just a little more. This will also make painting easier because it gives the brush a hard edge kind of to go up against. So there is a little bit of that going as well. That said, if you don't have a nice line, if you have like kind of a little zigzaggy line that kind of goes down, even if it's super subtle, the paintbrush will find that. And what you think you're saving time making life easier for will actually become harder. So yeah, there's a little bit of that that kind of plays into this whole thing as well. So double-edged sword. Okay, so we have that. Good thing is everything is looking smooth. Because what you want is you don't want any angular stuff. You want everything to kind of feel smooth up top, or else it's going to be really, really awkward. So as long as we have that smooth kind of feel to everything, I think we're okay. That's not the one. Okay, I'm poking my finger, which is, I've had enough of that. Enough of that. All right, when I did this, I definitely needed to have this come in more. That strap does not feel right. Okay, starting to look like something, and I have more strap stuff down here. Good. I was like, I took my strap material. No, I still have it here. I can make more. Except this one needs to be a little different. Okay, I'm not gonna need that because this piece that goes up top here, really, it might start the same as you, but it very quickly becomes that kind of pointer arrow thing. So I'm just gonna start with you. Start with just kind of a blank piece, throw it up there, and we'll kind of carve out up top here what we want and or need to get this to work. So I want you lined up with the strap up there, first thing. Seems to be like the pretty solid first move. Have things line up. And let's see, so what do we want? We want you to come across and in, so that piece comes off. It then comes kind of down, kind of makes a little point. Our point right now is a little big. It's not cooperating. I want you to cooperate. I've had enough trials and tribulations this week. I need something to go nice and easy and good. That's a lie. I went to work today. Work today wasn't too bad. Tiling a backsplash in a kitchen. I can do that. I can do that. It's nice having projects like that lined up after one of these big races. Because even if I do feel like absolute garbage, I can do that. Plus, going to work means I can actually move my muscles around a little bit. And it does help on the recovery end of things to just be able to move around and whatnot at work and not just be sitting at a desk or sitting at home kind of doing nothing. Okay, so that just kind of made everything look worse and blobby, but that's okay. because we can retrim everything to work. Okay, so what I need this to kind of start from nothing down here because it's coming through the fabric or through the armor there. So we need to kind of bring it down to nothing. Still, I can bring that. Okay, so we have a little something on there, so that's good. Oh, we need the buckle thing going on here, which is the clasp. Do we have a better visual of the clasp? Not really. And what else do we have here? Turn that off. Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm OBSing right now. Okay, that's not it. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Nope. All right, so yeah, that's about the best views I have. The in-game views are not going to be any better because the in-game ones are going to be lower resolution than, well, concept art. So we just kind of have what we have to work with. I can make it up from there. So we're going to be doing this one very similarly to the belt buckle. I'm just going to put a solid piece on here and we're going to carve out something that's going to resemble a clasp. I don't know how well or not well this is going to work in the end, but that's what we're going to do. Now I'm doing this off camera. Here we go. We have a piece. Is that? At first I thought that was going to be way too large, but that's not terrible. Where's this one? Okay, it is kind of a smaller, it is definitely smaller than this. It looks like on the concept art here, it's a little bigger than it is in the actual game. It's almost more squarish, it looks like, in the game. Because that's an in-game image, and that's definitely more square-ish. Okay, so we have that in there. Which again, this won't look like much until we get to the painting part, and then this will hopefully sing a little bit. Okay, so what do we have going on? I can't tell on that pixelated mess. What do we have going on here? Also, another nice little pixelated mess going on here, but it looks like it's almost a cross-shaped thing inside a square. So this almost looks like I'm not fully correct on this. It looks like we start with something like that, just a basic square. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you down and over, you down and over. Where is you? You is here. You can push those two sections kind of in. I think that's really all I need on that. I don't want to go super more than this. I'm not 100% sure how that's supposed to make itself work. So I'm just going to leave that here right now. Maybe I'll go in after all this stuff is done, and I can look up any other views I can find of her and see what I can glean off of that. But I think for now, that's not a bad place to start. And then on here, let's get this strap back together so you look halfway decent. Okay, so we have the one strap in the back. We need more than that. So I believe it's the one marked shirt back on my playlist here. Yeah. Yep, that's the one. And I believe I need to make another one of these, because I keep folding up the stuff that I have that would kind of almost sort of work. That's awesome. Okay, that said, I don't need the entire thing. That should be sufficient to do what I need. Okay, so where do we start? We start, oh, yeah, somewhere along there. And then like the other side, it comes down and kind of rests itself on top of this. And like the other one, I'm just going to cut it off kind of over there. I think I'm going to worry about detailing that out later, although there's not much more later to go. We are pretty much later, but there's no real reason to put things off anymore. Although really, next session after this is done, it's really just kind of making the knife that goes under the arm here. And then this thing is basically going to be ready for hardening. Then it's going to be just like cutting the arms off, kind of doing little touch-ups. But really, that knife is the only major thing left after this on this portion of on this part of the project. So yes, things are definitely going faster. The legs took forever. But now that those are done, like I said, any individual part that comes up will be, or at least should be, significantly quicker than that. That said, I'm still not sure where I want to go after this part is done. So maybe while I'm deciding that, I might just do one of the ammo things on the legs or whatever, just kind of as a filler part until I really kind of figured out the main thing I want to do. I really should do the rifle, because I kind of want, if I want to do the arm, she has to kind of be holding that, so it would be nice to have that part. But part of me knows that that's a different skill set of the carving out of wood and whatnot, and part of me is just kind of putting that decision off at the moment, which I shouldn't be doing. That's kind of bad. But in a way, I'm kind of human too. Sometimes you just want to put things off a little bit, and yeah. I will have to tackle that sooner rather than later, but we're just not 100% at later yet. Okay, there's a buckle that goes up here that I didn't get, that I'm turn off. Nope, yes. There is a buckle, a clasp that goes up top there, so let's do that. So once again, I'm just going to cut a square out of a piece out of that. And yeah, it doesn't go that far up. So we have this. And once again, we can do this kind of in place, which is going to be that goes up, that goes up, that goes down. And this middle piece, if it doesn't want to keep tearing in half, I would appreciate it if you didn't, or if you were cut all the way through, it would probably help too. Yep, 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 yep. Hold up, hold up. Oh, this came out all kinds of wrong. Really, let's get that piece off. Oh, this looks terrible. Thank goodness for being able to blend things. Okay, I think we're back in there. Now we have this little piece right there. Ah, dropping things, not good. That's not the thing I want. I kind of want you just to kind of keep that together as I do this and get it to read more square-ish. Okay, so we have a clasp up there. It looks pretty not good, but I feel like it's missing just a little piece. In there. Okay, so if we have a clasp up top, I will need to smooth that one out later. Again, that's going to be easier doing that off camera than on camera. And there were definitely some things going on back here. If my computer will... Okay, so there's the second clasp in the back. And let me get my image over here a little closer. And I can't really see what's going on over here, but there's another clasp up there for reasons. But they're there. So let's do it. Let's see if we can do the same as last time with slightly less fail this time. Let's do it with a lot less fail this time. You know what? I'm gonna up my game. Let's do this with a lot less fail. Okay, so that's in there. And we want to get some of this stuff off the ground. You good. You good. You good. Let's maybe actually try to cut this thing a little more correctly. Let's not get my shadow in the way because then I can't see what I'm doing. Hey, why couldn't the first one be that easy? Okay, so what do we have? That didn't work. Also, you're too big. We have ways of fixing it if it's too big. That's not a problem. Okay, there we go. That works. That works, that works, that works. We put that in. Slice that little excess stuff out. And there we have it. Now, I know there are going to be some, like I said, off camera I'm going to look and kind of see if I can get a clearer image of how this resolves itself. I can see if I can get a clearer thing of how that resolves itself. And then really next time, the big things are I'll make these two areas look good. It seems like it's going to be a little funky being kind of tucked in, but I think it's going to have to just so the next part can drape over correct. But otherwise, that is where we are on this. She's coming together. You know, I'll just keep you because that's the nice thing is now when I come down here into kind of my little work area, my workspace, and I look at this, I can at least, when I take the plastic off, I put plastic on this each time. When I take that off and I look at her, it does now look, I can tell exactly who this is when I see it, and that's kind of the big thing. So I look at this, and this is definitely Kai. This is definitely Kai Shulin here, so. But I'm pleased. We are making good visual progress. We're getting some of the important details on here. That is looking like what it's supposed to, and next time, like I said, next time we're going to work on the knife on the side, just kind of touch up some of the details. And then we'll see, time pending, I may harden on camera or I may just harden this off camera after that. And then after that point, I'm not sure what we're going to work on. I could either, this arm is very tempting, or I could just say take a break from these and go and do one of these ammo kind of sides. And then go do something, then like do an arm and come back to the other ammo side and kind of, I don't know, we'll play it by ear. Either way, next time, knife stuff. And we'll finish off basically this shirt area. And it should be good. Should be good. Let's see if I can get you entirely in here. We need to get a good thumbnail image going. It's all about making a good thumbnail image. But... All right, until next time, enjoy.